Well, morning, fellow zombies. Are we sleep deprived yet? Are we emotionally screwed up? Because I sure as hell am. 3:08 in the morning, West Coast time. It is Monday, the 13th of January, 2025. Your zombie weaver, John C. Still asleep in the chair again. Brr. I've been trying to find desperately other things to talk about without being put into a catatonic state. Every time I keep looking at the independent news sources, they're still going at each other. They just don't know how to talk to each other or with each other. But if they happen to do that, it's against party lines, and then you have the fans going against each other or against the people that they like. I've been noticing that too much these days. Even the ones who have voted in the chaos and confusion, they're going against the chaos and confusion. How does that work? How does that rate? You vote a schmuck in, and the whole entire party is still whining baby about everything until January 20th, and they're still going to be doing the same damn thing. They're whining about this, whining about that. They can't control this, they can't control that. They want to control. Deregulate everything so we have more money coming in. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, God, shut up. And I was finding some interesting things that I should have said a long time ago and didn't have the information necessary. Now I do. Now I'm educated enough. And I'm grateful for that. The things I was going to be saying is when we had the water issues with the fire this past last week, now I was hearing different things. It's like one after another, after another, after another. I'm like, okay, enough. What else we got going on here? And it was just driving me nuts on it. I was watching this video. Little girl, I think she called herself. And she had some interesting stuff to say. But she was also making some clarification. She was making some clarification about how the water systems were. Apparently, there are tanks, and there has to be power to constantly have those tanks filled. When they get depleted, that's when they start filling up. But if power is being lost, then there's not enough water to force through the system to get the pressure necessary. That's why sometimes there had been dry periods when the firefighters were trying to fight the fire on that Tuesday night. They were draining the tanks dry, but the tanks could get water from other sources if there was enough power going through the system. And somehow, either by choice or by design, and not just for conspiracy theories, but maybe for preventing of the fires, and this was probably a catch-22 situation. If you want the power to go on to charge up the tanks and keep them filled, fine. But then there's a risk that there's going to be a spark somewhere else causing another wildfire. So that's why the fires were ongoing the way they were, and it was hell on earth. And this was talked about by the fire department. This was talked about the fire chief and the PIO officers. But when you had the politicians coming in and telling people that they're turned off because of a fish, and there were a lot of naysayers on that one jumping on it real instantly on that. It had nothing to do with what was happening with environmental concerns. It wasn't. We weren't dumping water into the ocean. We're trying to use every last drop we can get ourselves in to knock down the fires. But we've never. Los Angeles, in my own understanding of the history, not I'm not talking about looking at the books. I'm talking about me going through history while living in LA County for most of my life. I only moved out here to the Kern back in 2015. No, I'll take that back. 2013. 2013 through current right now. So it's been over a decade. So I've been dealing with the Kern, but for most of my life, and I'm going to be turning at the end of 59 at the end of the month. I had never seen fires that we've had like we've had this last week. And yes, it was tremendous, spectacular, terrifying as hell. People were losing lives and people were losing property. They were losing homes, businesses, neighborhoods, community centers. Everything that would make a town a community center of itself. And in my 38 years of living in the San Fernando Valley, and then living about another several more years in the Antelope Valley in the LA side, and then the rest of the side is in current, I've been seeing fires getting worse and worse. Not just by politicians, not just by mismanagement, not by finger pointing, but also by human design, human error, human activity, increasing our temperatures. Verified by climatologists who people keep ignoring left and right. Over the past how many decades we've had them going, giving us the warnings, but we didn't listen. Why? Because we didn't want to listen until it's too late. Now it's too late. Hearing about that water pressure system, the thing is that we're dealing with the city water. We still had tanks full, and tanks needed to be recharged from other sources that, by use of power and mechanism, would have been filling up the hydrants again, and we would still have the water pressure. And it would only go for a certain amount, and after that point, the mechanism is if there's been power in the system and the mechanisms, the tanks be filling up from those sources, and fire department would be ready. The thing is, we're using so much of it at the same time, and because the power was off in certain areas, because they feared it would cause a fire in another location. That's always the fear right there. And it's getting harder for us to deal with that one. Edison is fighting it off left and right. Has been fighting it off left and right. They don't want to cause another outage. I mean, they'll have to cause another outage if they have to, but they don't want to cause another fire. They don't want their lines and their power grid causing more fires left and right. But they don't want to deprive the fire department the ability to get more water. And people just keep blathering, trying to make themselves look good. Unbelievable. So I don't get it. We're getting into recovery. We got some of the fire knocked down already. Let me take a look at Cal Fire for right now. This was important that we had this going on. This has been a long while. They hadn't updated their website yet. But it's been said that this catastrophic fires we've got right now, we had 25 people dead between the Eaton fire and Palisades. Hearst fire is just about over. It's a complete containment, 95%. They'll do the knockdown. They'll make sure that hopefully there's not going to be any more live embers to spread out more fire. Eaton is about almost 30% contained. It's got about 14,000 and 117 acres, according to what CAL FIRE's been saying. And Palisades, well, I think they're about 27 right now, 27,000, and I'm not quite sure. They're still doing a body count on that one. And they got about, I think, 18, but they haven't quite updated their website yet. And it's still a terrifying thing to see. We're lucky here in the Antelope Valley, where I live in, that we hadn't had the winds blowing from onshore. Offshore is one thing, offshore is the Santa Anas, but onshore, when they're blowing from the ocean in, when we have the pressure gradients forcing that wind to go northeast, northeast, and that would be towards my end. Now that makes me nervous. If we had a sudden wind shift and the wind started blowing into the Antelope Valley, as I've been trying to explain to people left and right, as I say, do a Google map, do a Google map, do a Google map. See what's going on, guys. People have a conniption fit over this because of what I'm trying to demonstrate to these guys what we're dealing with here. Constantly show them on the Google Maps what's going on. About the layout. If they get to street levels, they can see at street level what's going on. But sometimes I go for default so I can get my bearings of counties and states and countries and stuff like that. But when I look at the layers, and I'm looking at the topography, I'm looking at satellite maps. Helps my navigation a lot better. And it's on some aspects anyway. I kept looking at a fire zone. A flattened area of a fire zone. Everywhere else is mountainous except in portions where there's lots of communities that the fire would come down and snatch up too much real estate. They say it's going to take decades to recover. I figured as much. We're not talking about just forest repopulation here. We're talking about communities getting back together or communities getting rebuilt again. It takes a while. It takes a long while. Fires have a way of destroying communities, but also bringing other communities together. And over the past 2 or 3 days, they've been talking about it on the news, that pop-up centers, people would donate anything and everything for the survivors not to feel like they're left out. It's tremendous. And they're going to need it on a constant basis until they get their lives back together. But I'll tell you, in those first 2 or 3 days, oh yeah. And we were terrified. I was terrified. As I said before, I've seen fires all throughout my life. I mean, yeah, I've heard about the major fires up in Northern California tearing apart communities left and right. Just burning them out left and right. But then I kept seeing the mountain fires and the hillsides. Right in the San Fernando Valley or in different portions, but I'd smell the smoke because the wind would blow the ashes in my direction while I was in the valley. And it made me terrified all the time. Still does. It still terrifies me. It's something you don't outgrow for me anyway. In my case, I don't outgrow it. I have yet, and I'm grateful, that I have not been put into a situation of evac back then or now. Back then, we had car, we had transportation, we would have an out to get the hell out of there. But the thing is, we never packed up. We never thought about it. The failure of imagination, which was called a long time ago. We didn't think about it because we didn't imagine it. We just kept thinking that the fire department will take care of it, the county will take care of it. We didn't realize during that time that the fires are going to get bigger and worse each year. That we would have to depend upon different counties and in different states and in different countries. And the worse we get with the damn winds and stuff like that, it's going to get even more insane. Our drought has not been relieved. It has not been improved upon. It's gotten worse. So now we're dealing with that. How's we're not supposed to deal with it? I don't know. People will be asking me how the hell I'm doing. Well, I'm still living. I'm still alive. And we haven't yet smelled the smoke because if we did, it'd be a whiff. It'd be a little bit of a wafer or something like that. Bit of a drift, but no ashes. But we would smell the smoke late at night when the winds get died down a bit, and then the smoke would be just filtering out. The smell would be there. I carry masks with me in my vest. My green vest that I have, right behind me here. N95s. I'd never seen an N100 though. Let's see what those damn things look like. Okay. Okay. Now I know what those things are. Now I know. Okay. That's cool. Because they got a conniption fits and they also got other safety masks and other safety filters. I've got, and they're alright because I use them a lot. There's major masks out there. The idea was worse. But as for the particulates, they got some interesting ones out there. If I find some. Of course, I have to find a way to get them ordered. But I've got a respirator. I've got filters for it. I got the carbons and also got the other filters for it. So yeah, I'm all right on that one. I've got goggles that I would put on right over the glasses, so I'd be able to see. So in this way, I'm able to breathe for maybe a couple of hours. Fun part about those things is trying to tear them apart, get the filters replaced, and then get back to it again. But they're needed. I had to force myself to get these. I don't think anybody else would have been wearing them on the streets. If the smoke was that bad for me, we all got used to the masks when COVID kicked in. There have been some occasions, maybe a very few occasions, I'd see someone with an actual painter's mask with the two respirator cartridges here, and they're breathing and keeping the stuff away from people or trying not to get the stuff from people. Or else it could have been at a industrial park or something, doing something. But we are talking definitely mask protection from smoke. Now me, I know I've got issues with my breathing. It's been getting worse. It's been getting worse a little bit. I know. Still need to talk to a doctor about it eventually. But for right now, I'm alright. Now, you've already noticed that I've got some videos out that may be questioning my mental sanity. About my mental health lost? How dare I come up with something controversial? Yeah. But the point's made, isn't it? It's not questioning my faith or my loyalty in my country or the Constitution. I question people's ability to understand what chaos they're unleashing and what it's going to take to get them back to reality, since we already got the lunatics in charge. And since they're saying that they want to take over a country, they want to steal they want to steal a canal. If they can't buy it, they'll probably steal the damn thing. I wouldn't put it past them. Of course, they'll be having issues in the United Nations. They'll laugh, and the current outgoing administration will be breathing a sigh of resignation, relief, and shaking their damn heads about what the hell the American people did. Because the new administration coming in, here's where the fear and phobias are really building up. This is why I kept saying about the pip, 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 pip. It's not just attacking. It's building up with the fear mongering by using past experience teaching us what's going on or what may happen. Am I afraid of it? Pissed. What more can it do to me? If my body's trying to kill myself, then what more can the state do to me? And since bringing up the idea of selling off portions of our country to another country, I mean, why not? Seems only fair. We're going to be invading other people. There had been movies, there had been books, there had been talk, there had been things about that. I guess people hadn't thought about it as much. They thought about the invasion on the border and the bad people are coming over and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Well, they hadn't done it yet anyway. At least not much in the mass. Just a fear mongering. Show me proof. But don't you know? No. Where's the proof? They're here. What do you want me to do about it? Ah! Okay, here's some Xanax. Here's a straitjacket. Go over there and just vegetate. I will say that in Texas, in El Paso, between Juarez and El Paso, there had been reports on their local news about drug cartels going under the border. Here's the thing about the dumbass Trumplicans. The first term that they got in with the old gas bag, they thought about building walls. You know, like you assholes. These guys are tunnel rats. These guys are tunnel rats. They're going to build. It'll take some months, but they'll get it done. And then they'll do whatever they got to do. They want a big, beautiful wall for their own damn photo ops. What they don't have is common sense. You don't go over a wall. You tunnel under the damn thing. It's that simple. And they already made them laughing stocks anyway, so let's enjoy the show on that one. We got terrorists. We make our own. With our frustrations concerning about the elitism and anything else, we got people forcing the issue and the emotions down our throat. If we've already been conditioned by having the experiences that makes us pissed off, that's the thing that usually starts the whole process. And then it's the fear mongering added to it, and an anger and hatred and everything else. And then what do we got? Lone wolves. And a constant berating and a constant pip 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 pip. That's why I've been staying off the news feeds left and right. I'm getting sick and tired of the same shit over and over again. It's the zeros and ones and algorithms and AI and God knows what else they got going on. Trying to reprogram my brain to feel one way or another. Meanwhile, I go to a church online just to see if I can get my brain deprogrammed. I get so damn confused, I'm yelling and screaming at a damn pastor. No, because the videos I was showing to people left and right, I just posted them a few hours ago, so it hasn't quite hit anybody or everybody yet. No, because what I was telling them is I wanted a foreign country to invade America. Maybe buy it or invade it. I figure if we're going to be doing that to Panama, why not do us? And I was trying to use someone as an official courier to send the information over to that invading country. And that country, well, we're right next door to each other. We depend upon them, they depend upon us. And no, it's not at the border. But which border? If the information ever got to the Canadian Prime Minister or whoever's in charge of the Parliament right now, they'll probably be scratching their heads saying, is he for real? All he's got to do is take a look at my videos and see. They'll see this one. Yeah, it's a stab at the Trumplicant and the Trumplicants. It's a stab in a gas bag and his mindset and everybody else following his insanity. And then it's a stab at the American people and the world community. Putin's probably going to be laughing his ass off on that one. Xi Jinping will do the same damn shit. Not to mention Kim will be doing the same damn thing. I'm not quite sure about Maduro. But hell, own a piece of United States property. Come over here and invade us. Buy it, rent it, steal it. Mexico could. Well, if they so choose to. But they don't want to. They're not going to. And neither will Canada. Common sense tells me this thing, but I posted it anyway. Not just for the lark, but for the response. Am I trying to get people's response? Well, let's say they're doing everything else. They're trying to make sure that everyone else is going crazy and they depend upon the comments and likes and dislikes. Well, not the likes that they depend upon the YouTubes and the other platforms to build up their own fear and paranoia base. What did I say beforehand about my own damn channel a long time ago? I should have been putting that as a master one out there. This was for my own mental therapy when I had lost so many damn people that I give a shit about over a decade and a half that I wanted an outlet. So this was my outlet. I noticed something about my behavior over the past 20 some odd years. Yeah, I've been under my family's thumb in a way. I've been under my mama's thumb. I've been under my brother's. And I have been subdued and not that much outgoing with my speeches or actions or anything. I had to learn how to be outgoing. I had to learn how to be really, really challenging. I mean, yeah, I could challenge my brother and I could challenge my mother on some occasions. But I had a hell of a lot of respect, a lot of love for him that I didn't want to disturb that. But since I already got them gone and already ashes right now, it still hurts like hell. I still had to get my voice out one way or another. I did audio recordings for a while. Still do. Nobody gets a chance to hear them. They're just private. But it's my way of using a sounding board to get my thoughts and feelings out. And then I use it for prep work when it comes time for the videos. And 2 or 3 years into this damn thing, thank you, COVID, very much for getting my ass in this shit. So now I communicate with people on video. I used to write stuff, but I like video better. Saves my fingers. They got neuropathy. And I'm seeing all this shit happening. Decade and a half of more than a decade and a half. It's like 30 or 40 or maybe 50 years. Change is happening, and sometimes not for the good. I mean, change is constantly happening that I've been aware of. More so way earlier than me, and they'll still go on. That's life for you. We're dealing with the Trump crap going on right now. We got to deal with that. We got to deal with the people's choices of what Congress is going to be and what they're going to be screwing over the people left and right. So it's going to be an interesting 2 years, and after that, another 2 years. And by federal law, by the U.S. constitutional amendment, there shall be only 2 terms that the President of the United States shall have. Unless, of course, somebody actually puts us through an amendment on that one. I'm not hinting at it. I'm just stating it. Because what they'll be doing is driving the American people crazy over that damn crap. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't want another year of Trump. But I got 4 years of the asshole anyway to deal with. And the followers. The followers will be afterwards, and they'll try to get another person over like-minded into the office again. Guaranteed. Not getting into the office guaranteed, but they'll try. So right now, I deal with what is. I know there's been other online presence out there, online influencers, who talk about their personal lives a great deal. And I've talked about mine a great deal because I needed to. I'm not taking the stuff back. What I've said, I'm not taking it back. I take responsibility, accountability, and transparency about the damn shit. You don't like it, on it. If it pisses people off, it pisses people off. Even for the ones that are trying to sell off to pieces of the United States, be my guest. Say I'm a dirty, rotten traitor. No, you've voted in dirty, rotten traitors at this point. I'll counter. You wanted the chaos and confusion? Congratulations. Here we go. You want it your way? Ain't happening. Outside, talk about chaos and confusion in an apartment complex. Even at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be hearing people going, eh. What I'm going to do is go head back to bed and sleep a little bit if I can. Get up, get the apartment ready for another inspection if there's going to be. Probably not. And just deal with things. So that being said, have a good night, guys, or good morning.